Good afternoon, 6-4 Owl parents. Mr. Hagedorn here with our weekly update. Just a normal 5-day week next week. Nothing too crazy going on. In Math 6, we're going to continue to talk about our rational numbers with our negative numbers here. We're going to get into graphing negative numbers and finding the distance between 2 points for horizontal and vertical lines. We will not be doing any of that distance formula. Finding the perimeter of shapes. Wednesday, Thursday, we're going to start our study guide. We will have our Unit 7 quiz on Friday. In Math 6 Plus, we're in a very similar spot in 6 Plus. Math 6 Plus, we talked about graphing rational numbers today using all 4 quadrants. We're going to get into finding distance on Monday. We'll have our study guide Tuesday and a quiz on Wednesday. And then we'll start Unit 8, which is data and asking statistical questions and how we can represent data and what data tells us. All right. Miss Sparks is in a meeting. They will be ELAing next week. I believe they're doing lit circles of some sort, but you can email her if you have any questions about that. Have a good weekend. I'll see you on Monday.
Lit circles.
Thought literature was in rectangles. All right, either way, science this week. We just spent our week focusing on 3 processes that are vital to plants and all living things. That'd be photosynthesis, cellular respiration, and transpiration. Hopefully, students are aware of these 3 processes, understand how they're valuable not just to plants, but for all living things because we all depend on them. If one of those processes go away, living things would also go away with it. Either way, next week we're going to get into, we started a conversation very briefly today because classes were a little shorter on vascular and not vascular plants. We will be getting into dormancy and tropism after we have the discussion about vascular and not vascular plants. They basically, some have certain parts, we know about them. You were taught them when you were younger. There's way more vascular plants than not vascular plants. Most famous not vascular plants is peat or moss that grows on rocks and lichen. And then we're going to get into dormancy and tropism. Dormancy is when those leaves fall and the grass grows brown in the wintertime, and then tropism is the ability for plants to increase their survival rates. So we're going to be looking at survival rates, and we're going to end the week with starting our Hunger Games plant to be in the arena the following week. Have a good weekend. Hopefully it doesn't rain. Who knows?
I know, especially on Saturday because I'm going to the Bulls game. All right, friends, let's talk about social studies. Star Wars night at the Bulls game on Saturday. I'll be there. You know I'll be there. Okay, so let's talk real quickly about social studies as we are now completely done with our unit on economics. The economics end of unit check is due today. Almost everyone has it turned in, and if you've got it turned in, I have graded it and posted that grade to Power School, and the kids that don't have it done, it clocks tomorrow, so they have some time to kind of finish it off, and we talked in class so they know. Most of them said, yeah, they shook their head and said, yeah, I know it, I still need to do it, but there's a couple of kids, so you might want to check in with your student and see if they did turn it in, and then ask them what their score was. Now, we are in social structures right now, how humans rank each other in the ancient world. That's what we're talking about right now. And so we've been talking about social mobility and the lack of it. We've been talking about social hierarchies and how we rank people and what kind of ways we rank people in the last couple of days. We've also started talking about one of the 4 groups we're going to be kind of focusing in on in this unit. We're going to be talking about the Egyptians and the social hierarchy within the ancient Egyptian world. We're going to talk about the Romans, which we just barely started talking about, and this is kind of the social structure in the Roman Republic more than the empire. And then we're going to talk about the Indian caste system, which is a bit of a review from religion, and we're going to talk about the Japanese social structure as well, kind of feudal medieval Japan. And we're going to understand each of those 4 social hierarchies, and then students are going to take one of those roles on, and they're going to do a project called the Social Structures Dinner Party. And I'll be sending a note out to you sometime next week asking for some donations for our dinner party. And students will be creating a project, basically a bio poem, where they take on the role of one of these characters and then they write about their life a little bit, and then they get at a table with people of other different groups. And so they, the samurai might be sitting next to the Egyptian emperor, and a common farmer from Japan might be sitting next to a merchant from India. media. And so they kind of talk to each other about their roles and have a little snack. That's the dinner party. So that's what we're doing. We also are starting to see a little bit of students starting to Google and AI their answers a little bit more. So what we're starting to see now is we're going to start using a little bit more paperwork in my class. And so the grades might start to look a little different because what I've seen at the beginning of the fourth quarter is some very elevated scores based on results that I think they're getting a lot of help from the computer and AI on. So you might want to talk to your kids about that and see what they're doing, because some of the answers are coming in and we look like they're not really looking like sixth grade answers. So if you have any questions, any concerns, please let us know. If not, have a lovely weekend, and may the 4th be with you.